Mary, suddenly collapsed against Jack. Jack dropped his cargo and scooped her up. "Are you okay? Where are your parents?" he asked. "At home. Please, take me back," the little girl said in between big, staggered inhales. It's the house on the corner. As Jack started to walk with Mary, he saw a young couple running through the market towards them. "There she is, thank God," said the man as they reached Jack and Mary, his face wrinkled with worry. "Thank you so much for your help, sir," said the man through thin tears, a sigh of relief escaping him. "We were worried sick," said the woman. From the looks of pain and anxiety on their faces, Jack knew that they were the little girl's parents. "You can't keep running off like that in your condition, Mary," exclaimed the father. "You aren't well enough." The father then faced Jack. "Thank you again, sir. She's always escaping to the docks to be near the ships, but, well, she is sick, you see, and she can't handle being out alone anymore." The woman took Mary from Jack's arms, and the couple turned and started walking away. Jack could hear the man and woman murmuring as they walked. Among the unclear voices, Jack noticed the little Mary trying to speak. "Stop," Mary said, fighting through the exhaustion. The couple stopped and both looked down at her. "Mr. Jack was going to tell me about the ocean. Please." The couple shared a glance of compassion for Mary and then turned back to Jack, who had already started down the road. Sir, wait," shouted the father as he started to run after Jack. Jack, hearing the man's voice, stopped and turned around as the man arrived just behind him. "Sir, would you like to have dinner with us? We are so grateful for what you did for Mary. Please, she would love to hear your stories. Would you?" the father asked. Jack smiled and nodded in response, picked up his bag and followed the couple to their home. When they entered the house, Mary's mother brought her into her room, lovingly tucked the girl into the small bed and sat in the chair next to her as they had always done, Mary's father kneeling on the other side. "Are you comfortable, honey?" Mary's mother asked, wearing a mother's smile. "Do you need anything?" "I want to hear Mr. Jack's stories," Mary uttered as some of her strength returned. "After you rest," Mary's father responded. Mary's parents left her room and went to Jack, who was waiting by her door. "Please, sit down," said the mother to Jack, gesturing at the dining table. "Dinner will be ready soon." The inside of the house was of simple design. Outside of Mary's room was a space being shared by the kitchen and dining table. Next to Mary's room was her parents' room and the house entrance on the far side of the kitchen. Jack felt that despite the plainness of the house, the feeling of love and peace that filled the air made it feel warm and welcoming. Jack took a seat at the small table next to the father, who sat at the head. Soon after, he was handed a bowl of beef soup and a piece of bread. "I'm sorry it's not much. Most of our money goes to Mary's treatment, so there's not much left to buy ingredients." "It's very kind of you, thank you," replied Jack, offering a comforting smile to the apologetic woman. Jack and Mary's parents ate together and spoke about their lives until the sun set. They spoke about how the couple met and how Jack became a fisherman. They spoke about Mary and where they all grew up. The couple were happy and bright, often smiling and laughing. But Jack could see that beneath their optimistic exterior, caring for and worrying about a sick child had taken a toll. Deep wrinkles were imprinted on their faces, and their eyes told a story of restlessness. Just as Jack had finished his meal, he heard Mary's voice. Mr. Jack, where are you?" "You should go in now, Jack. She's awake and waiting for you," said Mary's father with a kind smile on his face. He gently touched Jack's shoulder. Jack stood up at the table, walked over to Mary's room and opened the door to see the little girl already staring towards him. "I know it's you, Mr. Jack. I can still smell you," Mary let out a giggle. Jack couldn't help but join in. "So, ma'am, what would you like to know?" Jack asked as he sat on the chair next to her bed. "Everything," Mary weakly exclaimed with a tone of anticipation as she sat up on her bed. So Jack told Mary about his latest journey. He told her about the time he faced the raging storm off the coast. He told her about the school of dolphin he saw through the crystal clear waters. He told her about the smell of the sea, the touch of the air, the sound of the wind. As he recounted his journey and the sea, things that had become almost mundane to him, he was surprised at the level of attention and pure focus Mary showed to his words. While Jack spoke, Mary would stare at him with such intensity and excitement that her grey-tinted eyes seemed to become transparent, the wide, bright smile on her face seeming to fill the air with an optimistic light which seeped into Jack like water being poured onto thirsty soil. The longer Jack looked into Mary's questioning gaze, the more he felt as if a cloud was being lifted from his inner being, leaving behind a pure, weightless space. The lack of obstruction seeming to birth a renewed positive outlook on his own existence, something that Jack had not experienced for a long time. Jack noticed that the more he was in her presence, the clearer his sight became, almost as if it was he who had been living with clouded vision. Time seemed to flow endlessly as Jack spelled out everything that he had experienced, much to the delight of Mary. Jack spoke until the little Mary drifted off to sleep, her concentration on Jack's story seeming to sap the energy from her little body. With Mary asleep, Jack quietly stood up and returned to the small table where Mary's parents were still sitting. "Thank you for sharing that with her," Mary's father said. "She has always loved the ocean and watching the ships landing on the docks, you see. She loves it so much that she sneaks out to go down there just to be near them. It was fine when she was healthier, but her condition has gotten worse. I've tried to tell her to stop, but nothing I say works. I'm just worried about her, you know." Mary's father whimpered as he let out a defeated sigh, lowering his gaze towards the table. Jack could see the welling of tears in his eyes, and Mary's mother placed a comforting hand on the man's shoulder. "I understand," Jack sugaring his words with a compassionate tone, as he could see that the situation had an effect on the man. "I'm leaving again tomorrow, but would it be all right if I came back here next week and saw Mary?" Jack asked Mary's father. "Oh yes, that would be great. She would love that," Mary's mother overzealously interjected. Mary's father looked up at Jack with an appreciative look plastered on his face. "We can't ask you to go out of your way, but I know that would make Mary very happy. Thank you for your kindness, Jack. You have a good heart."